folks, this is Franco Tonelli, and today's program we're going to look at the visuals of our technique. Let's first understand how difficult the voice is as an instrument. It is difficult because it's the most intuitive instrument of all, with no fixed pitches, fretboards, just a gift of nature. So let's look at some of the challenges that this instrument has. I'm sure that's not all of them. The most important challenges I'm going to give you here. First, instrument with no keyboard or fixed pitches. That's who we are. Second, everything significant happens inside it. It's technique based on particular subjective sensations of a particular singer, or in that sense, in that occasion, this is you. It's true sound to be never truly heard by a singer himself during his singing process. Number 5, problems of who am I as an instrument, tenor, baritone, soprano. If I am a tenor, well, what type of tenor, lyric, dramatic. Number 6, constant confusions with the actual voice teacher. Number 7, problems of not only teacher respecting the true nature of his student, but sometimes inability of the student himself to recognize his true nature. Number 8, psychological and structural incompatibility of the voice. It could sound like, my papa bought me a flute, physical nature, but I want to play sax, psychological or aesthetical values. You see, if you really want to play a sax instead of a flute, but you have a flute, you have a problem. I like to give you a quote. La foi vient par les oreilles et non par les yeux. The faith comes through ears, not eyes. You know, what we can get through seeing, watching is more or less objective. On the contrary, what we can get through hearing is very subjective. And that's why I try to show you another side of the instrument, if you like, an appoggio, in comparison to other instruments, like wind instruments and fretless guitar. So let's look at it from eye's point of view. So you have to bring the mouthpiece into condition that these two double reeds have to be close enough for the Bernoulli effect. It's very important. If they're too wide, it won't be able. If they're too close, also. So we brought it to this, and then we can produce a sound. Now let's take a fretless guitar as an analogy to voice and make a visual comparison. This is a fretless guitar, and there's some similarities between voice and guitar. We use different pitches and we use different places in the fret to get those pitches. So let's see, like this. For example, or let's say, let's take a simple phrase. You see, the way I'm changing the pitch is because I'm shortening the length of the string. Shortening the length of the string. Now, in appoggio, or in classical singing, instead of shortening the length of the strings or the vocal cords, what we do, this is similar to that. You see? I do it through the tuning. This is how Actually, our vocal cords are changing the pitch. To finalize our analogies, our cords are very similar to double reed instrument mouthpiece. So as you see, as I showed you before, and it's important to open the mouthpiece to the certain, it has to have a certain opening here, otherwise you won't be able to produce any sound. Let's say if I try to produce the sound in this situation, it's impossible. If it's too open, it's too wide, it won't work. It will be too hard for the lips to put them together. So this is of course not exactly as sophisticated mechanism as vocal cords definitely, but it gives you an idea of how Bernoulli effect works, how support is important. You can imagine this as a vocal cords being placed right here, okay, or if you like right here, doesn't matter. But the point is, air comes through a particular membranes, in our case as a vocal cords, that start with the initial sound. Actually, the initial sound is very, very simple, sometimes even ugly. If you ever heard vocal cords sound without amplification, without the color of the voice as itself, just the vocal sounds, it's very, very nasty sound. It really becomes beautiful when it gets all this resonance. So this is kind of similar. It also has very unattractive sound, I would say, if you don't use the body of the instrument or the resonance of the instrument. This is how duduk's mouthpiece sound without duduk itself. You see, not a very attractive sound. When you put it there in the resonance chamber, it becomes much smoother. Of course, any analogy or any scientific observation will not make you right away a better singer. Because as I told you before, science, pure science, does not work. It just states the facts. And the way we feel our voice lies inside, in our illusions, in our own personal sensations. So why then try to make it still a little bit scientific and to understand how a real voice works? The reason for that is when we know objectively what's happening with the voice, at least we're able to get a read of the false theories and understand the voice as it is, through us, through our experience, through our teacher's help, and through the joy of singing. Thank you very much. This was Franco Tonelli. Until next time.